I think a lot of times when we're working towards something, or we have a goal or a dream or aspiration in mind that we want to accomplish, we're sort of looking to the external world to validate whether or not we're good enough to achieve it, right? Or we're looking for people to tell us that we're good enough so that we can actually feel as if we're good enough. Or not even that, we're looking to see progress of it in the external world to begin to believe that we're good enough to achieve whatever it is that we set out to achieve, right? And I think when we do this, we greatly undermine and devalue ourselves, because we're allowing the external to be the thing that defines our worth, and we're allowing external conditions and people to tell us that we're good enough, right? And what I want to say to you guys is that you don't need it to be validated in the external world if you've already blessed it in the world within. And what I mean by that is that your internal conviction, or your emotional conviction, is really the only thing that matters. The only thing that matters is how you feel about the thing that you desire on the inside. Is whether or not you truly believe that you're good enough or you're capable of having it. That's truly the only thing that matters. And your need to be validated externally is the reason you don't have what it is that you desire. That's the only reason. What gave me the idea for this video was that I was, sort of thinking about the people who have made significant strides throughout history and even present day. Whether you want to talk about Martin Luther King or Gandhi, Thomas Edison, I always say his name wrong. Who else? Barack Obama, and even Donald Trump, who is quite people might have mixed opinions about him or whatever, but people who really actualize their dreams and make their dreams come true. I was thinking about all those people, and I was thinking how the one thing that they really have in common, all of them have in common, was that they had a strong internal conviction. They greatly believed that whatever it is that they desired, they were capable of having it. That's really the only thing that they all had in common. And when you really think about it, a lot of the times, a lot of them didn't see progress of what it is that they desired externally, right? If someone was to tell them, that they were not capable of having it, they will completely shut this person down, because deep down they felt as if they had it within them before they even had it physically. And I think it's important for us to see our dreams being actualized in our minds before it becomes actualized in our reality and in our physical world. It's having that strong emotional or internal conviction within, right? Feeling as if you have it even when you have no physical evidence of you having it. And I think a lot of times we place limitations on ourselves, right? We tell ourselves what we're not capable of doing, what we're not capable of having, what we're not good enough to have. We greatly confine ourselves, and we confine our lives. And so we stuck in this same position of scarcity for most of our lives. And that scarcity isn't based on the external. It's based on the internal. And so, in order for us to truly have what we desire from this world, we must make the shift from scarcity to abundance, right? Internally, we must feel as if whatever it is that we desire, we already have. I think it was yesterday I wrote in my journal, because I try to journal every morning. I feel as if it's something that helps you to sort of reconnect with yourself, and the more I do it, the more I find peace, right? There's so many thoughts that roam around my mind, and it helps me to sort of put my thoughts down and reevaluate my thoughts, and it's a great way to really learn more about yourself. So I would really recommend people to start journaling if it's not something that you usually do, right? And so I wrote in my journal that faith is actually allowing the heart to see what the eyes cannot, right? And what I mean by that is, even though you might not physically see the thing that you desire, right? Even though you might not physically prove that you're able to achieve it, I think faith allows you, or allows the heart to see it, in the sense that you believe that it's possible internally. Or not even that, you know it's possible internally, right? That's what true faith is. It's seen beyond what is in front of you. Because if you only see the world through your physical eyes, then you're leaving a large part of a reality out, because reality exists outside of our physical eyes, right? Being able to only see the world through the physical eyes is how we really place limitations on ourselves. It's how we confine ourselves. And so being able to see beyond what is in front of you and look through the world through the heart instead of through the eyes is really how we make progress or achieve the things that we want to achieve. And it's only recently that I'm learning to really realize that. I've spent so much time looking at the world through my eyes for so long, and I limited myself, right? I placed restrictions on myself. Reality, believe it or not, is a placebo. It is a placebo. The only thing that exists, or the only thing that is here, comes from our beliefs, our individual beliefs. Everything that we see around us, this book, everything came from someone's mind and their imagination and their belief in whatever it is that they could perceive in their minds. And so if you continue to doubt yourself, if you continue to undermine and devalue yourself, and you look down on yourself, you will never have what it is that you truly desire. And you will be stuck in the same place for the rest of your life, living unhappy, living as if you're not living up to your potential. Most people take their potentials to the grave. And it's not so much that they're not good enough. We're all good enough in whatever field that we want to endeavor to be successful in. We're all good enough. The thing that separates the people who have it and the people who don't, or the people who achieve it and those who take their dreams to the grave, comes from within, comes from their conviction, right? Knowing they're good enough to have what it is that they desire, right? That's the only thing that separates people. And it might take a while for your dreams or whatever it is that you want to achieve to manifest, right? It might take you a while. But if you continue to strive towards it, simple steps every day, waking up, taking small steps, eventually those small steps are gonna lead you to where it is that you want to be, or what it is that you want to achieve. But at the end of the day, it all comes from you. And no amount of undermining yourself is gonna put you any closer to your goal. You have to believe in yourself. Your conviction has to be good enough, and it has to come from you. I think it's very dangerous when we place our validation, or we place our conviction in the hands of someone else. When we allow people to be the thing that determines whether or not we're good enough. Because people might support your dream for a while. People might say, okay, I see you, I see you doing that thing, my G, but at some point that support is not going to be there, because people are dealing with their own lives. They're trying to achieve their own goals. So sometimes, and even successful people who achieve what they want to achieve, they might tell you that sometimes the journey can become lonely. And I don't even like using that word lonely, but I'm just using it in this context. Sometimes the journey might become lonely. But I think that loneliness is what allows us to really be or become our own source of confidence and validation and conviction. Being alone and realizing that you might have support temporarily, but the support that is going to put you on the path to having what it is that you desire permanently is going to come from within. And it has to come from within, because if it doesn't come from within, then you will never truly achieve your goals, because you're always going to stop or sort of feel unconfident if people aren't validating you, right? So it has to come from within. People are going to support you for the time being. Sure, you might have that. But then what happens when they no longer support you? What happens when even people begin to undermine your goals, right? Begin to tell you that you're not good enough. What happens to that? What happens then? Do you stop on your path because someone told you that your product isn't good enough, or your business isn't good enough, or your YouTube channel isn't good enough? You know, when you think about those things, you begin to realize that it all has to come from you. And if it doesn't come from you, then you will never have it. And you will never have it in the way you want to have it. You only have it based on someone else's opinion and someone else's validation. And that's not stable. And so, I say all this to say, your emotional conviction or your internal conviction has to be strong enough. And really and truly, it is the only thing that matters. Believing in yourself, right? Knowing you're good enough is how we get the things that we want to get from life, and how we achieve the things that we want to achieve from life. It's about realizing that the power lies within you. You have it right here. And the only reason why you don't have it right here is because you believe you don't have it right here. You know, that sounds like a paradox, but it's true. You know, a lot of us don't even realize how much power we have, because we spend so much time searching for the power outside of ourselves rather than going inside, you know. But when you go inside and you get in touch with that power, that presence that lies within you, nothing is more freeing, and no one can take that away. Because even if 100 people tell you that you're not good enough to have what it is that you desire, to you, you're like, okay, that's your opinion. I believe I can have it. And since I believe and that I know that I can have it, I will have it, and your words will have no effect on me, right? You will never be able to stop me if I genuinely believe I'm good enough. And that's the place that we have to get to in all areas of our lives. Whatever it is, you know, it could be a relationship. You have to believe that you're good enough to have, or to, you know, have someone in your life that genuinely loves and pours into you. Even if it's a business, you have to believe that you're good enough to be successful at your business. It all comes from you. And the moment you realize that it all comes from you, and the moment you take your power back, your life will change. And you will become a new person. Because like I always say, in order to change your external world, in order to change your life, you must first have to make a change within. As above, so below. As within, so without. Thank you guys for watching. And I really hope you start believing in yourself and stop doubting yourself. You are good enough, and the power is within you. And the simple fact that you're here for a reason. You weren't placed here just to be some other thing. You have value. And your recognition of that value is a thing that is going to create great change in your life. So allow yourself to see it. Open yourself up to see it. Right? So thank you guys for watching. Really hope you continue, or if you haven't started, start taking care of your mental health. And like I always say, give yourself a little bit of love every single day. Every single day you give yourself a little bit of love. Fill your own cup. pour into yourself. Alright? So thank you guys for watching once again. I probably said that for the third time, but I really do appreciate you for watching. Take care of yourselves. Peace and blessings.